Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will be looking at the value of folded landscapes with emphasis on fold mountains. Folding is a process in which crustal rocks are distorted by compression. Compression describes the stresses directed at one point in a rock or rock formation. It is a squeezing force. Compression causes rocks to bend upwards and downwards. It mainly occurs on fairly young sedimentary rocks. By far, the most conspicuous feature of folding are fold mountains. Fold mountains are highlands formed where rocks have been predominantly distorted and uplifted by compression. They are the world's highest and most impressive mountains. Fold mountains are created at convergent plate boundaries, which are sites where tectonic plates are pushed together. Rocks on the edge of continental crusts are often weaker and less stable than rocks found in the continental interior, which makes them more susceptible to folding. Most fold mountains are also associated with sedimentary rocks, which form at the edge of continents after sediments carried over long distances have been deposited, compressed, and cemented together on the seafloor. When plates and continents on them crash into each other, the sedimentary rocks accumulated at the edge of the continent may crumble and fold, particularly if there is a mechanical weak layer such as salt. As the rocks fold, they may be changed into metamorphic rocks due to the high level of pressure resulting from the process. The weight of any crustal material which is forced upward during the formation of fold mountains must be balanced by material forced downward into the mantle. This is called isostasy, which means equal state or equilibrium. Isostasy implies that if the load on a region changes, the lithosphere shifts vertically in adjustment. Thus, the continental crust is normally much thicker under fold mountains compared to adjacent lower lying areas. Now, when two continental plates meet, both have the same rock density. Therefore, the plates can neither sink nor be destroyed in the mantle. The material between the plates is therefore forced upwards by compression to form the fold mountains. Examples of fold mountains formed in this way are the Alps and the Himalayas fold mountains. When an oceanic plate converges with a continental plate, the sediments under the sea at the edge of the continental plate are compressed. As the oceanic plate sinks beneath the continental plate, their motion forward pushes sediments together. Over a long period of time, these sediments are pushed up into huge fold mountains at the edge of the continents. Within these fold mountains, there are also volcanoes resulting from the rising of magma above the subduction zone. Fold mountains formed in this way include the Andes as well as the Rockies. Let us now look at some examples of fold mountains around the world. The Himalayas is the most towering mountain range on Earth and is still being compressed. The mountain stretches through the borders of China, Bhutan, Nepal, India, and Pakistan. Here, the Indian plate is colliding northward with the Eurasian plate. Both plates are buoyant and are therefore pushed upwards, causing rocks between them to bend in the process. The sedimentary rocks of the Himalayas include shale and limestone. Metamorphic rocks of the region include schist and gneiss. Dikes of igneous rock also intrude throughout the rock formations of the Himalayas. The Alps stretch across Italy, Slovenia, Austria, Germany, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Monaco, and France. Here, the tiny Adriatic microplate, which is a remnant of the African plate to the south, is colliding with the much larger Eurasian plate to the north. The geology of the Alps includes sedimentary and metamorphic rocks, as well as igneous rocks that once were part of the ocean floor and were later uplifted in the process of folding. The Andes are the world's longest mountain range. They stretch along the entire west coast of South America, from Colombia in the north through Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina to the south. Here, the dense oceanic crust of the Nazca Plate is subducting beneath the less dense continental crust of the South American Plate. The Andes are mostly being folded and uplifted from the thicker, less dense rocks of the South American Plate. The sedimentary and metamorphic rocks of the Andes are dotted by active and dormant volcanoes. The Rocky Mountains, also known as the Rockies, are a major mountain range and the largest mountain system in North America. The Rocky Mountains stretch from the northernmost part of western Canada to New Mexico in southwestern United States. The Rockies is another example of an oceanic plate subducting beneath a continental plate. Therefore, the fold mountain is also volcanic in nature. Now, fold mountains do not just exist, but they also impact people. People are influenced by fold mountains both in negative as well as positive ways. Let us look at some of the ways people are influenced by these fold mountains. Negative impacts. Fold mountains are both high and steep. This means that there is very little flat land for building settlements as well as for farming. It is difficult to use machinery on the steep slopes, which means that work takes a longer time. With increasing height, the atmosphere gets colder, windier, and wetter, and more precipitation falls as snow. This means that most industrial and agricultural activities are difficult. Crops have a very short growing season. At the same time, the leeward side of the fold mountains are generally arid or dry since air warms up rapidly as it descends the high mountains. Mountain soils are typically stony, thin, and infertile, and therefore poses a problem for agriculture. Fourthly, though many precious minerals are located in these regions, the process of falling can sometimes lead to burying of the minerals, which makes them inaccessible. Avalanches are constant threats. Huge amounts of money have to be spent each year to try and combat the avalanche threat. In fold mountains where volcanic arcs are located, volcanic eruptions can also pose a threat. Another problem is inaccessibility. Fold mountains can also create barriers to road and railway where there are no passes. Even where passes exist, they may be covered by snow. The roads and railways are difficult and expensive to construct. They have to snake their way up wherever they can, and often these roads are not big enough to adequately service a large community. Travel on these roads and railways is frequently disrupted by rockfalls, avalanches, and bad weather. Orographic fog may also hinder a pilot's visibility. However, fold, folded landscapes do not only impact humans in negative ways, they also serve very important functions. For example, some fold mountains are used to demarcate important international boundaries. The Himalayas border the nations of China, India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, and Afghanistan. Fold mountains also act as protective barriers during times of war. The windward slopes of fold mountains receive heavy rainfall due to forced rising. Thus, many fold mountains have become water catchment areas and sources of large rivers. These large rivers provide fresh water as well as a source of hydroelectric power. Hydroelectricity accounts for 60% of Switzerland's electric production. The narrow valleys of fold mountains are ideal for dam construction as they cut cost. The steep relief increases water velocities, allowing electricity generation. Snow melt fuels most of the water provision, but this means that hydroelectric power production can be reduced to small amounts in winter where there is less snow melt and most of the water is being stored as ice. Fold mountains are also important tourist destinations, which help to bring foreign exchange to these communities. Activities carried out by tourists in these areas include river rafting, mountain climbing, as well as skiing. In Peru, tourism is a massive industry. The highlight of Peru is the Inca Trail. The trail, which is South America's best known trek, covering 43 kilometers of old pathways and linking together old Inca settlements in the inhospitable mountains of the Andes. Millions of tourists are also drawn to the scenic areas of the Rocky Mountains each year. People from all over the world visit the sites to hike, camp, or engage in mountain sports. The Yellowstone National Park is an important tourist center in the Rockies. Now, fold mountains have valuable mineral deposits. Though we have said that the folding can bury some minerals, the process can also bring valuable minerals to the surface, making them easily available. Folding can also lead to the formation of valuable minerals due to metamorphism. Minerals such as gold and silver ores and semi precious stones are usually found in the interior of these mountains. Minerals found in the Rocky Mountains include significant deposits of copper, gold, silver, and zinc. In folded landscapes such as the Alps, forestry is another economic activity. Coniferous forests are the main vegetation in Switzerland and are well suited to the environment. Their conical shape makes the tree stable in windy conditions. The downward sloping, springy branches allows the snow to slide off the tree without damaging its branches. Switzerland's woods and forests cover more than one third of the country's surface area. They are used both for their ecological as well as their economic benefits. Ecological benefits include protecting the villages and roads from avalanches, mudslides, and rockfalls. They also serve as important natural habitats for numerous animals and plant types. Economic benefits include the use of the forests and woodlands for income generation. The trees serve as raw materials for construction and energy production. Softwood is in high demand and accounts for two-thirds of the logging in Switzerland. So, as mentioned before, agriculture is a difficult economic activity in fold mountain regions. However, it is not non existent. The wide meadows of the Alps make the area ideal for sheep farming. In the more extreme upland areas, goat herding is the main type of farming. The cold climate and difficult relief make it almost impossible for arable farming. However, in the foothills of the Himalayas, terraces are used to grow crops. Okay, so this is where I will stop. Thank you for watching. I truly hope that it was of benefit to you. Remember to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with a friend.